Wonderful morning. This morning here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we are with you all the way through to 11 a.m. this morning and every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So I am so happy here. Happy TGIF. I'll always call it TGIF because I'm a TGIF kid. What that means is I would every day with my family, or every Friday, I should say, with my family. Yeah, every day would have been great. Every Friday with my family, we would have the opportunity, thanks to ABC, when they had some sensational programming on. Not that they don't have sensational programming on now, nothing draws me to ABC right now. And they had, back in the day, they had these fantastic shows. They had Family Matters, they had Boy Meets World, Full House, Step by Step, Perfect Strangers, Dinosaurs, and they all had family moments, family values, something to teach, something to share. That's why I like Ted Lasso, because every single episode of Ted Lasso has great advice, something inspirational, something real, and something to share, and it touches your heart, and it doesn't like grab you and make you listen. It asks you to listen in a very calm and soothing way, in a real way, and I feel like it works and it carries on through, and that's why I love the Ted Lasso show so much, and so I love TGIF so much. So I'll always say happy TGIF because I'm gonna keep pushing TGIF until ABC brings it back or somebody brings it back, because we miss it. So, with that being said, inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, we are here on Wake Up Call to bring you our awesome Friday trio of signature segments, as well as a very special guest to round out our week. Inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', giving you the list of topics for the day. We'll start with the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, where I get to go off about something in a fun and exciting way. We will be doing that momentarily. Then we'll get into Lead around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Lead stands for Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. That is Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. So we'll be discussing in today's topic, when they turn on you is today's topic. So when they turn on you, who are we talking about? We'll get into that around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. And then from there, we'll get into the top dog of the week. The top dog of the week will be honored right here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time today, I will have the opportunity to welcome back a friend in Leo Rautins, as he will be joining me here live, picture-in-picture on video, to talk about those Toronto Raptors right now and as they move forward, moves that he thinks that maybe they should make, Nick Nurse, and the whole grand scheme of things. We'll talk about the Toronto Raptors at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time this morning with one of the best out there, and I'm not just talking about someone who knows what they're talking about in the TV analyst world. I'm discussing somebody who's just a good human being, and I'm very excited to have Leo Rautins on the show. Of course, a Syracuse Orange alum as well, so very much looking forward to having Leo on the show at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time this morning. So looking forward to that, and happy to bring that to you picture-in-picture in just a little bit. So, with that being said, it's time to jump into the annoying moment of the week, which will start off today's broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, proudly presented by the fantastic team led by Jay Cartini at Carvel DeWitt, the longest-standing Carvel franchise in America.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
You have to be that crazy. I guess so.
The annoying moment of the week. Every single Friday to start off our Friday broadcast, that's what we have here for you, the annoying moment of the week. So it's time to jump into the annoying moment of the week. And folks, listen, it's in today's world, unfortunately, it feels like it's not hard to find an annoying moment, right? To reach out there and find something where you just kind of shake your head. But we always spin the annoying moment into a positive in the end. At least that's what I try to do. And so we're going to talk about the annoying moment of the week, and then we're going to try and find some
That's
peace.
what I try to do.
And so we're going to try to find some peace with the annoying moment of the week. So my annoying moment of the week for you this week, it's a few different things. It kind of stems from one area that can branch out, and that's selfishness. Selfishness to me is an annoying moment of the week. And that is because I'm not saying taking care of yourself. It's not selfishness. That's self-care. And people sometimes put those two together and intermingle them, and they're not supposed to be intermingled. It's not being selfish when you take care of yourself. That's not being selfish, okay? But selfishness, when we talk about this, what makes this the annoying moment of the week, to me, is the lack of care and concern for other people. In today's day and age, we live in a society that breeds selfishness. It breeds solitary life, right? You can do most things from your house on your phone without anybody's help. You don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to see anybody. You don't have to talk to anybody and see anybody to order food. You don't have to talk to anybody and see anybody to get a t-shirt. You don't have to talk to or see anybody to interact online. You know, I mean, you're interacting with people, but you're not in front of them. So we live in a society now that is very detached. And with a society that is very detached, it can become very selfish very quickly, very easily. And it makes me sad. Because human beings were meant to be together. We were meant to love each other. We were meant to give each other an opportunity and a chance. We were meant to be around each other. We were meant to learn from each other. We were meant to feel for each other, to seek to understand each other, and not just be understood. But we've lost some of that along these years as technology has given us an opportunity to be completely alone. You can go through an entire day on your phone and never have to talk to a human being in person. Think about it. You can wake up in the morning, check your social media. After you check your social media in the morning, you could get dressed, you could have food delivered to your house so you don't have to go out and get breakfast or make breakfast. After you do that, you have the opportunity to go from there and get in your car, listen to music. You don't have to talk to anybody. After you listen to music in your car by yourself and you don't have to talk to anybody, you can get out of your car and pump your gas and not have to talk to anybody because you can pay right at the pump. And after you do that, you can order lunch, have it delivered to your car. Now, a person might, God forbid, say, "Here you go," but you don't have to say anything. You can just take your food. You can go. After you take your food and go, you could go online shopping. Then you can go home and watch a game. Comment on the game online. Tell these people that don't even know you how much you hate them online. And people will see it. And what are they going to do? Right? Yell at you back and forth, but you guys aren't in the same room. You can live an entire day virtually. Heck, we have virtual reality all over the place now. We have people buying property, allegedly, in virtual reality, which is by far one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. There's stupidity, and then there's beyond stupidity. And I didn't know there was anything beyond stupidity, but there is something beyond stupidity because I see it all the time now. People that are buying virtual property. Oh, well, you don't understand, Dan. When I put on these VR things and I look into virtual reality, I own property there. So I'm rich in virtual reality, but not in real life. You know what that is? That's the movie Don't Worry, Darling. It's also the movie The Matrix. It's also terrifying. So it's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. Now, I'm not talking about virtual reality games. Those are fun. Because you play them, and then you get back to reality, right? You have some fun with your friends, and you get back to reality. I'm talking about buying property, buying ads, buying billboards in virtual reality. That's stupid. Now, if I buy it in a video game and it's virtual reality, whatever, that's fun. It's a video game. It's not some world that I want you to live in. You can't buy. I never thought we could sell. See, this is how dumb some people have gotten. I never thought that we could sell fake property in a fake universe to real people. Well, I got a house and a pool in the fake universe. In the real universe, I'm poor. So I put on my virtual reality goggles and I lay in my bed and I live in this fake universe because my real one's too tough. Well, your real body is deteriorating here on this real earth. I'm not against the internet. We're on the internet. I love the internet for what it can be. I love technology for what it can be. But technology was supposed to bring us together, not apart. And sometimes we forget to just go outside, look at a bird, play with our dog, pet our cat, call our mom, have lunch with dad, laugh with our best friend, take a walk, sit on the beach. We've forgotten that these things in our lives are so fruitful. They're so important. So why don't we do them more? That's my annoying moment of the week, is we've become selfish. We've become detached. The media hasn't done its job. I would like to think I have, because I don't look anything like the rest of the media, and I'm proud of that every day. Not that there's not good people. There are good people in the media. There's a lot of people that I don't know what they are, and I don't know what they're trying to achieve, but it's working in a bad way. And the media, people listen, right? People watch, people listen. You guys wake up with me every Monday through Friday, and you're here with me from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, not just in central and upstate New York and our second home of Florida. You're all around the world with me. You're on the East Coast, the West Coast, the Midwest. You're in Germany, Russia, France, Italy, Spain, Mexico, Canada, South America. You're all over with me. And I appreciate that. I really do. So I have an obligation to tell the truth. I have an obligation, in my opinion, to spread some positivity every day, even when it's hard to. The media has a lot of control. And has a lot of control over you. I don't even think you know that. And I need you to know that. Because the media can tell you how to feel, can tell you how to think, can tell you what to do. And some people follow it blindly. And that scares me. The media is not positive a lot of the times. The media is always trying to find something wrong with the situation. They're trying to find the problem, not the solution. Unless the solution is negative. Like the problem is this coach, fire him. Here's why. And a society that is so detached comes from the media having a level of heartlessness. And that's hurtful to me. The heartlessness and the hate and the negativity. It's almost like somebody in the media was bullied, so now they just bully everybody because they feel like they can. And I don't agree with that. A bully being bullied by another bully is not making anything better in society. It's just making things continue to be crappy. And I think this lack of respect for each other and selfishness and kind of lack of feeling, lack of emotion, lack of empathy, lack of understanding, and the media just driving people farther and farther away. If you look different, hate each other. If you're a different gender, hate each other. If you don't know what gender you are, hate each other. If you don't know what sexuality you are, you know what sexuality, hate each other. If you don't know your religion, hate each other. Make different money, hate each other. They keep dividing, because once you divide people, you can get them to fight with each other. Media is building society. There are powers that be that are building society into teams. They're essentially making us the Red Sox and the Yankees. The Cowboys and everybody else. That's what they're doing. And We have to see that. We have to understand that. We have to know that. We have to see that there's a seeking of division, and we have to stop that division. We have to stop it. Because this world that has become so individualistic and selfish was created by people not paying attention or being easily led like sheep. And if you're offended that I called you a sheep, stop being one. Stop being one. Because if you're offended by it, then you know inside you are. Stop doing it. I say this all the time. If you put out a post and you said, people who lie are mean, and somebody got offended by that, well, then they're a liar. Because what did you say? You said people that lie are mean. Why would you get offended by that unless you're a liar? What could possibly offend you by that unless you lie? So, we have to learn to love each other. We have to learn to live for each other. And people say, where does all of this come from? How can we get back together again? God. Essentially bonding thing that brought us all together in the first place. I know that when I say it, you go, oh, Dan said a bad word. No, I didn't. Because when I was a kid, we used to talk about God all the time. God in schools, God in the church, God in government, God in everything. On our money, it says, in God we trust. Why is that the only place where we trust God? It's written on our money, but is it written on our hearts? Do you trust God? Do you trust that God will lead you? Because humanity will not always lead you in the right direction. And in order for people to understand what they need in life, you have to have the knowledge, the wisdom, the faith, and the understanding that you did not make yourself. The uncreated you couldn't create you. When you were thin air, you couldn't make yourself when you didn't exist. Somebody had to have the paintbrush. Somebody had to create you. Somebody had to make you. And we're all different, even identical twins. And science can try to refute everything on this planet. But the reality of it all is, the more we take God out of life, the worse life gets. This country has systemically tried to kill God in society, which you can't do. But they've tried to erase his name. And look at how good it's going. We try to take God out of schools. There's more school shootings. Well, Dan, that's because of guns. Guns always existed. From when they did to now, I shouldn't say always, but when they were made to now, they existed. Back during Columbine times, why weren't people shooting up schools every single week? Right? They had the access to them, so why didn't they do it? There had to be something in society. But with society so detached, and a lack of faith, and a lack of God, and a lack of understanding, and a lack of empathy, and a lack of togetherness, and a lack of caring for one's neighbor, we see more of these things. A child should never be afraid to go to school. You should never be afraid to go to the supermarket. Nobody should be afraid to go out in public or be in their house. Right? People used to leave their doors unlocked and open. You see the screen. Come on in. Right? Can't do that in every neighborhood, can you? People are stealing packages off of porches. Package comes at 12 o'clock, it's gone by 1. Who the hell does that? A lack of empathy, a lack of faith, a lack of connection, a lack of unity. I'm not saying people should ever be violent. I'm saying they could have been. I'm saying our society could have deteriorated a long time ago. Why didn't it? Well, one of the things that I realized back when I was a kid is we all talked about God. 99.9% of us. If you didn't love God, people were like, why? What's wrong? What's going on? Right? I see some of the most underprivileged, hurting, poor, forgotten children. I asked them if they believe in God, and every single one of them raised their hand, yes. Yet I see people that have fantastic lives, don't have to wish for anything, and they don't thank anybody but themselves. My annoying moment of the week is the selfishness of society and the desire for society to eradicate God. I might not be your best friend and your favorite broadcaster because I'm talking about God and I'm defending God. But search your heart, because some people just do whatever is trending at that moment. And what was trending when I was a kid was God. And now that God's not trending, a lot of people have turned their backs. And my question to you is why? Why? I'm not on the dating apps anymore, but I tried them out like a lot of people did. Because it's hard to meet people in today's society, because people are mean, people are closed off, people look unapproachable. So I started to try to date, and I found that a lot of women from 20 to 40 don't believe in God. And I don't know why. They have great jobs. They have great family that they're close with. They have kids. Right? They're beautiful people. But they don't believe. And I'm not used to that. And people saying, well, get used to it. No. I'm not going to get used to a society that has a school shooting every week. I'm not going to get used to a society that is constantly saying, you don't look like me, so I don't like you. Do you realize the media has been telling you that we're equal and telling you that we belong together and telling you about equality while they're dividing you? They're slapping you in the face while they're staring at you. They're putting their hand behind your back and stabbing you while looking you right in the eyes. They're saying equality, but they're acting in division. Pay attention. Stop being a sheep. Don't be a sheep. Don't. Lead. Learn. Understand. Pay attention. Because my annoying moment of the week is not that I haven't seen good people in this world, because I have seen great people in this world. And I have seen them this week. My annoying moment of the week is the undeniable selfishness that has infected our society. We had access to doing horrible things a long time ago, but a lot of us didn't. So why are more of us doing bad things now? I blame media, message, detachment, powers that be seeking to divide, God being eradicated. I blame all of that. Because if a kid doesn't believe in God, and a kid believes that if you don't look like me and act like me, then you're not on my level, you're below me. And a kid doesn't have a family that's going to teach him morals and values or teach her morals and values. What do you think that kid's going to do? Right? In my opinion, people are much more apt to create a crime, to commit a crime, when there is not love in their household, when they don't pray, when they don't talk to God, when they don't eat dinner together, and when they aren't raised by people who have morals and values. I'm not saying that people that give their children faith in God and morals and values don't have kids that might mess up. But see, I was raised in a house where we ate dinner together. We prayed together. We went to church together. I was told to say my prayers in the morning and at night. My parents tucked me in when I went to bed. We had dinner together. We talked about our day. We didn't watch TV while we were eating. And I messed up. And I wasn't perfect. But you know what? My family was there. My family loved me. My family still loves me. And I didn't do these astronomically horrific things. I made mistakes here and there. But I had love. I had love. And that is what the world needs now. It's what the world needed always, is love. Genuine care and concern for one another. It's not hard. It's not hard. I don't hold the door open. I don't look behind me and say, who's coming? Oh, they look like me. I'll hold the door for them. They don't look like me. I'm going to shut this door. I don't do that. I hold the door for whoever's behind me. whether they're a good person or a bad person in the eyes of whatever. You know, I hold the door. It's what I do. For anybody. I nod and I smile if someone looks at me. You know, I try to, how you doing? I'm nice to people that treat me like absolute garbage. I'm nice to people that have screamed in my face and sworn in my face like they think that this world or any world is the right stage for them to be a buffoon. But I will talk to that buffoon and I will be very nice to that buffoon because that buffoon will never make me join in their buffoonery. It's reality. Gotta be nice. The selfishness of our society, breeded, enhanced, and pushed by the media, has hurt us. The media has a job to do. And as a member of the media, I carry that job differently. Now, I think a lot of people in the media don't like me. I tell the truth. I have morals and values. I build great relationships with coaches and players and people around the world. I'm honest. I say who I am, and I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. I spread love. I talk about God. And I befriend and care well beyond wins and losses to the people I'm interviewing. And that has caused me to have some of the wonderful, wonderful relationships that I have and friendships that I have. And it's also caused the media to treat me like a leper when I walk into the building. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? The nicer I am to people, the more successful I am, the more I talk about God, and the more relationships I build, the more people in my profession don't like me. What does that tell you about who those people are? I know people are cutthroat, and I know some people think everybody's coming for their job. But I never thought that being honest, kind, respectful, and someone who lives by their word would make me a villain to others. But I also know that morals, values, God, faith, living by my word, and being honest, and building relationships is the only way that I can be. It's the only way that my heart could ever keep beating. When I was on this show a few years ago here on Wake Up Call, it felt like it was easier, right? There's a few crazy people. Let's talk about it. Let's address it. Let's move forward. Now, a few years later, I feel almost like I'm living on a different planet because of the level of consistent hate and rage. We've spent a lot of time hating each other. We spent a lot of time disrespecting each other. We spent a lot of time not listening to each other. So what are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? Are we going to continue to be selfish so we continue to have school shootings, so we continue to have people feel unsafe, we continue to have neighborhoods with drugs running rampant? Are we going to continue to be selfish, continue to not talk about God, continue to disrespect each other, and continue to let the media tell us that if we don't look the same, we need to hate each other? Are we going to continue to let this world run right down the drain, or are we going to clean it up? I come from hardworking people. My parents told me, you want money, you work for it. That's how I was raised. I was raised to work for what I want, to speak up for myself, to be respectful, to share my opinion, to listen to others, to not always agree, but to walk away feeling that I respected them and I respected myself and that I'm proud of who I am. To never defame, deface anybody. And to treat people good, even when they treat me bad. That's how I was raised. I don't know who's raising what these days, but we need to do better. And I got to tell you, for those of you that think it's the millennials problem or the youth, whatever the generation's called now, I have met so many incredible young people, so many. There is no single group No single person, no single color, sex, religion, money that's making things not great. This is an individual decision when people decide to be bad. But a society that is telling you that if someone doesn't have the same money as you, doesn't look the same as you, doesn't have the same sex as you, doesn't have the same orientation as you, the same religion as you, same color as you, the same language as you, to be like this. That's not what God intended. That's why I tell people all the time, bring God back in, it all changes. Well, how's it all change? Because God made everybody. God's a singular parent to everybody. So if we all come from the same family, how can we be that different? If we all care about each other, then I think things will get better. There's a reason why society is more dangerous and scary and sad now than it was then. We went through world wars. And if my grandparents saw this world right now, they would say, how could there be one school shooting, let alone 10 in 6 months? And God willing, it's not that number. I'm just saying a number here. We had access to do bad things years and years ago, and why didn't we? Well, because this society used to sing together. The flag used to mean something. We used to talk about God openly. And you could tell me I'm wrong, but the more we've taken God out, the more that we've spit on the flag, and the more that we've detached from each other, this world has gotten insane. So maybe putting God back in, remember where we came from, to understand that freedom wasn't free, even though it should have been. Things weren't perfect back in the day, and they're not perfect now. But nowadays, it seems like things have gone in a worse direction. And in my opinion, it's because we don't talk about our Maker. It's because we don't talk about our differences together. I have friends of all different shapes and sizes and colors of the rainbows and this and that and the other thing. If you looked at my group of friends, my closest brothers, nobody's the same. Why is that? It's because I love people. And I seek the best people. The kindest, gentlest, God-loving, faithful, hopeful, hardworking, diligent, kind, empathetic, joyful, funny people. I don't care what you look like. I don't care where you came from. I care about you. I care about this. Stop letting the media and other powers that be out there tell you what to think and what to believe. God gave you your life, your soul. He put it in you. So use it. Don't follow, lead. And just because 10 people that you love are running off this cliff, don't run with them. Do better. Live better. Love better. Learn better. My annoying moment of the week is selfishness. My annoying moment of the week is detachment. My annoying moment of the week is lack of care. We've become a society of individuals. But society can't be built by singular people. It can only be built by a community. And in my opinion, the only way to understand how to come together is to remember where we came from. And a lot of people forgot that. But I didn't. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back right after this. This has been the Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. And you talk about being around each other and making good memories and just being together as a community. Well, growing up as a kid to now, the community always went out for ice cream, especially on a hot Friday night. And that's what it's going to be tonight. So I hope you head out to Carvel DeWitt.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios where sports meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and we're here on a special TGIF. You know, every Friday we bring you our trio of signature segments to start off the broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So we're starting things off here with the annoying moment of the week, which you just heard before that fast break, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. Now jumping into Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, proudly presented by the fantastic people at Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. So it's time to get into today's topic inside of Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver is what the acronym stands for that I created back with God in 2019 by the grace of God back in December of 2019. Today's topic, when they turn on you. When they turn on you. Now, last week was when they speak for you. This week is when they turn on you. What do you do? What do you do? Family, friends, co-workers, colleagues, neighbors. When somebody turns on you, when somebody you trusted in, somebody you believed in, somebody you thought had your back, when they turn on you, what do you do? How do you handle it? How do you move forward? It's not easy. I've gone through that pain. I think we all have. I think if we say we haven't, we're not being honest with ourselves. We've all had somebody turn on us, and if we haven't, we will. It'll happen. I'm not wishing it on you. I'm telling you that that's a part of life, is the growth through these tough moments. Through when things don't go our way, when somebody turns on the ones that they love or allegedly love. When they turn on you, what do you do? I had a friend, a best friend, and a girlfriend turn on me at the same time. I'm not going to say it's one of the hardest moments of my life, but I'm going to say it was one of the moments that really messed with my brain and was crippling to an extent because The friend had worked with me for years. And I knew what was going on in their life had nothing to do with me. Yet, the more I tried to help them, the more that they viciously, verbally attacked me. And I got to the point where I just didn't want to be attacked anymore. I didn't want to keep having my heart punched. So I walked away and I said, okay, you know what? Come talk to me when you don't talk like this. And my so-called best friend walked out of my life after lying to my face, looked me right in the eye, lied to me, said horrible things about the future of my children, which I don't even understand because I was just walking. I was walking. I was holding hands with my girlfriend at the time. I was looking this way. He was here. And he just started getting angry. Really angry. Saying things that didn't make any sense. Saying things about me that weren't true. And then wishing bad upon my future children. And not even wishing bad. Just having a vendetta against my future children, which is weird because if you're my best friend, you would be their godfather. So why would you be desiring things on them? And then he said some really awful things about women in front of me. And then he yelled at me for supporting him. He told me to stop telling him that he's doing a good job because he isn't SHI you know what. And it makes him angry when I send him messages of support. I didn't even think that sentence existed. Someone yelling at you for supporting them. Someone yelling at you for loving them and cheering them on. That's like a team. That's like if Syracuse was in the Dome tonight for the spring game and the fans cheered and then they yelled at you guys and said, "Stop cheering for us. We hate that." It doesn't even make any sense. That's what happened with my friend, my so-called friend. And then my girlfriend at the time, she did things to me. She said things to me and she did things to me that I could not even fathom. I could not even do. And the more, and anybody that knows the story is like, why did you stay? Why did you stay with that girl? If things were that bad, if she did one of those 25 things that she did, why would you stay after one of them? And I had this wounded bird complex, right? I wanted to help somebody. I saw she was hurting or I saw something was going on. I wanted to be there for her, But you don't have to be, right? You don't have to. I shouldn't say you don't have to. It's not that you don't have to be there for people. You don't have to sacrifice your happiness for somebody else's, You should be able to be happy and help others at the same time. And that was a really tough time for me because they all turned on me at the same time. And then you go out and you date and then people go, why did they turn on you? It must have been something you did. If you're the common denominator, you must be a crappy person. And then that makes you relive everything that those people put you through. And then it makes you think, did I deserve for someone to treat me like garbage? Then you start asking yourself that stupid question. Do I deserve to be hurt by other people? That answer is always no, by the way. Nobody deserves to be hurt. And when you look back on these moments, as we talk about lead, learn, evolve, ad lib, and deliver, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, this has been one of the tough parts of my life. When they turn on you. Right? I've interviewed over 4,000 people on this show, and I don't say that gloating. I say it to give an example. I don't have many people that were rude ever on this, ever to me. I'm nice to everybody. I literally walk up to everybody. I shake their hand. I look them in the eye. I ask them if they have a minute. I interview them. I shake their hand before I leave, and I tell them to have a good day or whatever. I shake their hand. Thank you. I'm one of the only people in the media, and sometimes the only person in the media, that will shake the hand of someone I'm interviewing before I interview them and after, let alone at all. Nobody does that anymore. And I'm talking pre-COVID too. Nobody shook hands. It was, oh, Dan, now that there's COVID, that's why they don't shake. No, people weren't shaking hands. They're just walking up to you, throwing a microphone in your face, treating you like you are a totally transactional object, and then walking away. That's not what I do. I walk up, I shake hands, talk, shake hands again. That's it. Respect them when you come in, respect them when you leave. The first time that they see you, respect them. The last time that they see you, respect them. So the next time that they see you, they know, hey, that man respects me. That woman respects me. That's a good thing. It's a safe place. I want people to feel safe. And I've had some coaches treat me like dirt. Dirt! And I've treated everybody the same for 19 plus years. I say hi, please, thank you, yes, no, ma'am. I mean, I have manners, shake hands, be kind, talk about, I live by God. And that's it. It's not that hard to be nice to people. I've been nice to everybody, and I've had people poo-poo on me. And I don't know why. And I still don't know why. And they say, well, Dan, you must have done something. I'm nice to them. If I've ever, God forbid, made a mistake, if I was late to something, or if I had to move something around, which coaches do all the time, so that's giantly hypocritical. But when you have to move something around, you just say, hey, I'm sorry, I forgot about this, or I had to do this, or... it says something about me that in 19 plus years, the amount of times I've forgotten that I had a meeting, I could probably count on one hand in 19 years. Okay? And beyond that, sometimes we run late. Sometimes certain things run late. Sometimes I've learned that my show ends at 11 o'clock, but it never truly ends at 11 o'clock, so I can't make a meeting for 11:30 because I'm not going to make that meeting. I've learned that. I know that. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm saying I treat everybody with respect, and I apologize when I'm wrong or if I'm late, whatever it may be. But I most certainly respect people. And I've had people turn on me in all different walks of life, in my business, out of my business. I've had people owe me money and treat me like absolute garbage, acting like I did something wrong by collecting what I was owed after doing what I said I would do. It's like you going to your job at the supermarket, clocking in for 8 hours and having your boss go, I don't really feel like you were here, so I'm not going to pay you because I'm going to pretend like you weren't here today. And then I'm going to yell at you that I have to pay you because that makes sense. But yet, I've lived in that world. I've lived in the world of people that owed me money and ran away. I've lived in the world of people that don't respond to messages when I'm only seeking to help. I'm not going to text you forever and a day. Be it a friend, a girlfriend, a coach, a player. I'm not going to keep texting you. But I've had people that I've been nice to my entire time that I've known them. And we talk and we talk. I stay up late at night helping them, doing everything I can to make sure that they're okay, make sure they're happy, they're safe, that they know somebody loves them and cares about them. And then I don't hear from them again. It doesn't say anything about you when you're the person staying up late, making sure that somebody knows that they're loved and cared for and important, and then that person doesn't talk to you again. That says nothing about you and everything about them. My ex-girlfriend did 1,000,001 things to me. And I stopped talking. I stopped responding to her text messages. I remember exactly where I was the day I stopped responding to her text messages. Because she swore at me on the text. She was like, F you and F my mom and F my dad and F my brother. I'm effing done with everybody or whatever. Something of that nature. I'm done with all of you. And that was the last message that I looked at. Well, I didn't respond to that message. And you're with somebody for almost a year, and you would think there would be remorse, there would be a phone call, nothing. Just spreading pain and running. So-called best friend said horrible things to me, lied to my face, ran away. Tried to call me twice. I didn't want to talk to him at that time. I was really hurt. Never tried me again. Never left me a message. Never said why he was calling. Because he might have just been calling a call, not to apologize. I don't know. I don't know. And when it's easy for someone to walk out of your life, when it's easy for someone to turn on you, it's not a good place to be. It's not. Because love will try to figure things out. Love will attempt to see if something can work, right? In the case of my ex-girlfriend, my most recent one, almost a year ago, when she hurt me, I would try to fix it. She wouldn't. And that's the crazy part. In my friendship with my so-called best friend, he had hurt me in the past, and I tried to fix it. He didn't. He did something really, really hurtful to me, and we didn't talk for 9 months because I didn't call him. And then I called him to see if he was sorry. You should never have to call someone and seek an apology. It's embarrassing, and it devalues you. I have to call you for you to feel sorry for the things that you did? But again, to go back to the annoying moment of the week, as lead and the annoying moment of the week always seem to link to each other, I am not a selfish person. I'm not a person that likes to hurt people. I feel like sometimes when you tell the truth or you feel like you're doing the right thing, sometimes it hurts somebody. And you never mean to do that. You know? Relationships don't always go the way that both people want them to go, and sometimes you just want to make sure somebody's okay. I don't hate anybody. I don't hate the people that did horrible things to me. I don't hate the women that cheated on me. I don't hate the friends that walked away. I don't hate the people that treated me with respect, and then when I saw them the next day, they blew me off. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But I can promise you that if you love me on Monday and ignore me on Tuesday, I'm not doing anything in between those 2 days to deserve that. And God forbid I ever was. I'm always going to ask for forgiveness. But I'm not the type of person to be nice. I mean, if you leave somebody smiling, laughing with them, shaking their hand, telling them have a nice day, and the next time you interact with them, it's negative? Okay, what did somebody say about me? Did you wake up on the wrong side of the bed? Because I couldn't have possibly done anything. We didn't even interact with each other since the last time I saw you smiling and laughing. So, again, when people flip and you're not even there to possibly have done anything, it says everything about them and nothing about you. And it's so hard because when you build, see, I'm a bridge builder. So when you build relationships, I get into the habit of I build and then I go build something else. So I build a relationship with Leo, and then I go build a relationship with Pete, and then I go build a relationship with Sarah, and then I go build a relationship with Steve, and I go build a relationship with Janice, and I just keep building, right? So if I'm building, then I should never have to go back to Leo and be like, why is this bridge blown up? Because we built it together, right? And we keep going. So, you know, life would be insanity if every time you built something you had to go back and go, is it okay? Is it okay? Is the bridge okay? Is the bridge okay? I mean, it's not that you don't, yeah, it's not, I'm not saying when you build, you don't talk to somebody one day and then don't talk to them ever again. I'm saying you always build with somebody, right? You do good by others and you leave them better than you found them, and then you keep moving. So to me, I've only been about building relationships, building bonds, and connecting with people. If you don't want to connect with me, that's on you. But when you build something with somebody and it disconnects, it's like when the internet doesn't work. It worked every day, but it's not working today. Why is the connection not working? And I go to myself and say, okay, could I have done something? Is something I said? Is this or that? It's like, well, in this case, I left this person. I was really nice to them. I told them to have a great day. I said, say hi to your wife. And I haven't heard from them in 8 months, and I'm tired of texting them, and I'm tired of trying to figure this out. So, you know, love isn't complicated, people are. And I don't get it. I don't understand it. but I have been on this world long enough to know that if I send you my love and you send me your love, sometimes we're probably not going to work out. Because I don't need to get your hate. Nobody does. Nobody deserves it. And if you're going to pay anything forward, may it be love. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. This has been Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. If you're going to spread anything or send anything, may it be love. And love comes from God. So, maybe that's why some people are afraid of it. It's also the best thing to have. We'll take a step aside. We'll be back with the top dog of the week after this. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcast centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Rd in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. I appreciate you being here every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time, and can't thank you enough for being a part of the show and spreading your love and your positivity here on Wake Up
Recording
Call
in
with
progress.
Dan Tortora. So
Recording
I want to give
stopped.
a shout out to a few of the top dogs that are out there, because I have a couple top dogs for today. And so with that being said, I need Lily's assistance to proudly bring to you the top dog of the week, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, both in East Syracuse, right down the road from one another, 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse for the daycare, and for the campground on 242 Johnson Street. Lily, take it away. The top dog of the week for this week, in my opinion, I have a couple top dogs of the week. One of them is my neighbor. So my neighbor, and I'll leave you unnamed, but my neighbor, they know who they are. I have a very wonderful neighbor, and they have been so kind and so compassionate. They've been very helpful. And, you know, there was a time where I got locked out of my house, and I realized that it's darn near impossible to break into my house, which I think is wonderful. That was something that I did learn that day in a positive way. And they helped me. They let me use their phone. It was cold outside. They let me use their phone. They let me bring my dog over. Gave my dog something to eat. Gave my dog water to drink. Warmed me up. Gave me something to wear. Honestly, like, did something you would hear in, like, the Bible. You know, they fed me, they clothed me, they gave me shelter. Right? That's more than what was done for Mary when she was about to have Jesus that night. And that meant so much to me, and I have to honor him as the top dog of the week, because his love and his compassion for human beings went beyond. And his kindness and generosity means so much. And every time I see him, oh, hey, what can I do for you? How can I help you? How can I do this? How can I do that? And I appreciate that. Very, very much so. My other top dog of the week that I'm going to honor has to be my doc. My doc, you know, there's a lot of doctors that, I don't want to say there's a lot of doctors, but there's some doctors that didn't help me with all this vocal stuff that I'm still going through. There was people that didn't give me answers. Some people downright didn't even seem that like they cared. Just kind of pushed me off to the side. Treated me like I was a nobody, like I wasn't a patient. I had one lady talk to me in a way that I didn't even know people and medical staff could talk to people, but she did. And then I go to this one practice, and one doctor wasn't helpful at all, but then one of them was. And he's been helping me through this process and giving me answers and walking me through things and really wanting me to feel better. And I can feel that, and I can understand that he wants me to get healthy, he wants me to get well, he wants me to be okay. He's looked out for me, and he's consistently tried to find answers for me and give me help where help is needed. And I want to thank him for that, because they don't make every doctor like that. And I have learned that over the years. I'm not somebody who likes to go to the doctors at all. Not because I don't respect them. It's just that I feel like I've been misdiagnosed a bunch of times with stuff. I've gone places where I felt like I was spending a ton of money and not getting answers. I've had some doctors show up late and give me no answer and charge me full price. And so, you know, I mean, for me, I'm not someone who enjoys that. I don't enjoy going to the doc. And when I go to the doc, it's because, number one, it can be expensive at times. And number two, I don't always feel like they help you. I don't always feel like they give you answers. Sometimes I just feel like they look at you and go, well, I don't know. And it's like, well, if you don't know, then I don't know, you know? And this doc, has helped me, has given me answers, given me some light, helped me feel a little bit better. If for nothing else, I've gotten somewhere by having this doc help me out. And so I can't thank you enough. And I honor you as my top dog of the week because of your kindness. Because of your kindness and your time and your answering of questions. So I want to thank Doc, and I want to thank my neighbor for having compassion, kindness, goodness, and love. It's a lost art sometimes, and I appreciate that you both have shown me that. You're my top dogs of the week, proudly presented by the fantastic team at K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. With that being said, I'm excited for the opportunity to have Leo Rautins be joining me on the broadcast here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. So very excited to have him here. Very much appreciate the wonderful team at K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. Folks, I tell you this, and you know me, I'm not going to say it unless I believe it, and I truly believe it. There is no better place to bring your dog for short and long-term care than K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. Make sure you head out there today. Let them know that Wake Up Call sent you. You want to call because you have to make an appointment. So before you head out, if you want to call the daycare, call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110. And if you're calling the Kampground Dog Boarding for longer-term care, make sure that you reach out by calling them at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013 to get in touch with them. And I appreciate y'all for sending your furry-loving friends and family members to the right place at K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. So with that being said, Leo Rautins is here with us picture in picture. Excited to have him joining the broadcast here where sports meets life, and always thankful to have Leo on the show, as he is somebody that is not just a basketball player in history and a great analyst in the here and now, but he's someone that I've considered a friend for a while, and I appreciate everything that he's done, and I definitely appreciate him extending something really awesome. The last time I was up in Toronto, brought me over to the game and brought me to the arena and helped me to truly enjoy it in a special way. So I want to thank Leo for all that he's done, and I'm happy to have him here on the broadcast where sports meets life. So with that being said, Mr. Rautins, how we doing?
Good. Just let me set this up, Matt. Dan, I'm just kind of all screwed up here. Hold on. I got to stay this way. Is this all right?
Yeah, that's totally fine. We can see you.
Okay. So all right, sorry about that. We got a crazy morning going on here.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't have we had prepared before today to talk on the Raptors, and you're not having a busy day right now. What's going on in Raptor country?
Well, they just let go of their coach, Nick Nurse. So that it's been kind of a crazy they just put out a press release just now. So everybody's just kind of scrambling to find out what's going on or get the details. Masai Ujiri, the president of the team, he's actually holding a press conference at 11 o'clock, which is already planned prior to this. So, it's a big day in Raptorland because Nick Nurse has been a big part of the championship and a lot of success they've had.
Were you surprised, not surprised? Where are you at with the fact that the news of Nick Nurse being let go by the Raptors just happened, and you're coming on this show immediately following? How are you seeing it? Did you anticipate it or no?
I don't think, honestly, a lot of people are surprised. Nick Nurse made some comments about a week before the end of the season where he said, he's going to take some time, evaluate after 10 years, see if this is the best place for him, if he should be here at this point, maybe he needs a change. It was an odd thing to say when your team is preparing for a play-in to get to the playoffs. You're asking your team to lay it all on the floor and, be part of this organization and win because this is what the organization represents. And you're talking about maybe it's time to check out. So, like I said, Nick Nurse has been extremely valuable. He's an unbelievable coach. He's an innovator. He's a guy that's he's not afraid to think out of the box. And obviously, he took the Raptors to a championship in what could be perceived as a very difficult year in managing Kawhi Leonard. But he did it. But for him to come out and say those things, it obviously leads you to believe that there were a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and there's a lot of things that it kind of led you to believe that when you watch his team play.
Yeah, we saw him in the G League and what he had done there, and then the Raptors bringing him in and having him be a part of this staff and naming him as the head coach. I mean, they took a chance on Nick Nurse. And so when you hear a coach say something like that before the season's over and saying, hey, I got to kind of reflect and see what I want to do and whatnot, how did you take that as an analyst of this team of so many years and through the entire time that Nick Nurse has been there, to see this man be given an opportunity and to not be a household name, and then the Raptors saying, hey, we believe you could be the future of this franchise and lead us in the right direction, and he did, and then to kind of hear him say, well, I don't really know where I'm going to be at, and knowing that his team had to keep playing after he said that.
Yeah, like I said, it was very unusual, right? It definitely raised an eyebrow, for everybody. But when you dig a little deeper and you watch this team, I think Nick Nurse is frustrated. He's a great coach, and he can work with just about anything you give him. And I think he felt that that's what he had to do. He didn't have the pieces that he necessarily wanted or needed. He just had to work with what he had. And the team obviously had some shortcomings. They had problems shooting the basketball up until the trade in midseason when they got Jakob Poeltl. They did not have a big man in the middle. Depth at the point guard position was a big issue. I mean, Fred VanVleet had to play heavy minutes. And I think Nick Nurse responded in a way that led you to believe there were some issues. You remember, this is an organization that prides itself on development. When they won a championship, they had Kawhi and they had Kyle, but they had Pascal Siakam, Norm Powell, Fred VanVleet, young guys. I mean, some undrafted guys making a big impact on the championship. And so when they've always done it. They've thrived on developing players, giving them an opportunity with the Raptors 905 as well. And that kind of stopped with Nick. He just, and you can look at it a couple of ways. You just, simply just not feel confident in the players that he had on the bench, or, as a message to management saying, okay, if you don't give me what I want, I'm just going to play my guys, I'm going to run them into the ground. And so either way you look at it, I don't think it sat well with Masai Ujiri. And, you can always, as the president and the GM, when people are looking at the team, go, okay, we're not a championship team right now. We're close, but we're not there right now. So whether you play or don't play the young guys isn't necessarily an impact on winning, but it's an impact on development in the future. And that's where you could have some serious, conflicts between the two. Coaches always worry about the record and winning. And when development becomes a factor in that could be an issue. So, when you look at it, there's a lot of things kind of simmering and near the top, but there's obviously always a lot more on the other side of that.
Here with Leo Rautins, a TV analyst for TSN and NBA TV Canada, and covering these Raptors for many, many years and being around this franchise. Were you more surprised that Nick Nurse was let go than he left on his own? Because there was that notion that, he could leave and go somewhere else and just tell the Raptors, hey, I'm going to go to another NBA team. So are you surprised that when this marriage ended, that it ended with the Raptors saying goodbye as opposed to Nick taking a job somewhere else?
Well, if you stop and look at it, just a basic decision that, let's say, if you and I had to make, if you had $8 million on the table, would you just walk away, or would you get fired and get your $8 million? So, sometimes, some of the decisions are pretty simple. It's a matter of economics there. And, I think you also, sometimes we put all these spins on a situation like this. And, sometimes, and let's look at it from what I just said from the monetary point of view, is sometimes you just need a fresh face, right? A fresh voice. It gets to a point where everybody's heard all your speeches. They've heard all your stories. They've heard all your motivational talks. They've heard it all. Yeah. And sometimes it's just not a bad idea to get a change, make a change. And that's not just from the organizational standpoint, it's also for the coach. For Nick Nurse, sometimes you get tired. And you get sometimes a fresh environment re-energizes you as a coach. So when a team says, okay, we're going to fire you and pay you $8 million, that could also be a message that, hey, we appreciate everything you've done. We need a fresh look. We're going to give you an opportunity for the same thing, and here's a little going away money. So sometimes you can look at it from a very negative standpoint, or a much more positive standpoint is, let's just make a change.
And, as far as you personally with Nick Nurse, you being around this team and analyzing this team and being in the building so much, what can you say about him, your relationship with him, and if you have built that relationship with him, just how you view his personality on and off the court?
Nick's a great guy. I mean, obviously, yes, I've developed a relationship with over the years, and he's somebody you love talking basketball with. He's a great basketball mind. But the great thing about Nick Nurse is much more than that. He's a musician. You'll see him on the road. All of a sudden, you'll walk by. I remember in Milwaukee at the Pfister Hotel, you walk into the lobby. There's a piano. You walk in late at night. There's Nick on the piano playing. So he took his guitar on the road with him. How many NBA coaches do you see take their guitar on the road? So Nick was a little different than what you see from the regular coaches. And again, I mentioned earlier that he's not afraid to think out of the box, right? That, when the Raptors won a championship, they put a plate of boxing one and Steph Curry. Everybody's going, boxing one? I haven't seen that since high school. You don't do that in the NBA. Wait a minute. Why don't you do that if it gives you a championship, right? Yeah. And then since then, you've seen a lot of teams, all of a sudden started playing boxing one, triangle and two. And Nick was one of those guys that, he was an innovator. He wasn't afraid to try different things. He put guys in different situations. Sometimes the crazier it was in terms of injuries and personnel available, the more you see him rub his hands together and say, hey, yeah, I can do this, like the mad scientist. So, I have a lot of respect for Nick, his basketball IQ, who he is as a person. And like I said, I just think he's just he's an Iowa kid, and he's just I guess he's just a good old boy,
And I mean, when the Raptors broke ties with Dwayne Casey, thinking that it looked like from the outside looking in that they were almost there, when they went to Nick Nurse, there was that big question mark. When there was that move off of Casey and into Nurse, from that moment to now, did Nick Nurse exceed your expectations? Did you already have a feeling that he was going to be able to elevate into that role and handle it well? How did you view him from that moment when the change was made? Did he exceed expectations, or did you already kind of see from him that he had the capability of doing what he did?
Well, I don't know if when you talk about coaching, somebody exceeding expectations, who knows about that? But I think that you knew he was very capable. You got to remember something. Even though he wasn't an NBA head coach, Nick Nurse had success everywhere he coached, whether it was a G League in Europe. He always had success. And the vast experience you gain from all those leagues, that really helps you in today's game where you got so many young guys. And guys from very different levels of talent and expertise and experience. So I think Nick, you just felt confident that he really understood what to do. And when we talk about make a change just for the sake of change, sometimes it was time for Dwayne Casey to go. Dwayne Casey did a lot of good. He established a foundation. He taught young guys how to be pros. He instilled a show up every night and fight mentality. So Dwayne Casey's job with the Raptors was really well done and appreciated. But again, sometimes you just need somebody a little different, or like I said, new speeches, new locker room material. Yeah. And when Nick Nurse came in, I thought he was a very good change for this team. Dwayne Casey was kind of wired up a little bit. In the playoffs, you saw more tension in how he coached, and Nick Nurse was kind of the opposite. Nick Nurse just kind of went with the flow. Nothing ever seemed to rattle him. And at the time, I thought this team really needed that. And then remember, you had Kawhi Leonard come in, and you had load management, which again is a misconceived and ridiculous term today. But back then it was genius because it wasn't resting Kawhi. It was keeping him at a high load where he could come back and play, but not wearing him down with the goal of winning a championship. That means Nick Nurse had to coach, around 20 games without his best player. And he had to make it work. And then when you bring a guy back out of the lineup, that's not easy to do. Everybody's got to adjust to that. Nick Nurse handled that extremely well. And he brought this calm about him that, even throughout the playoffs, the Raptors were down, 2 games to Milwaukee, and we're almost down 3. That game went to overtime. You never saw panic. You never saw, he just coached. And I think that, he got a lot of respect from his guys. I mentioned the box of one. When you tell guys something out of the ordinary, something you've never practiced before, hey, we're going to do this. Yeah. And everybody goes, yeah, let's go for it. That tells you how much respect you got in the locker room, right? For players to just jump on and say, yeah, let's do it.
That coming here from Leo Rautins, NBA TV Canada and TSN. The Raptors have been home, and we're speaking on the Raptors this morning right on the heels of Nick Nurse being let go by Toronto. I know you got to hop in a second, so I wanted to ask you this quick. We know that going into this offseason, Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent Jr. have player options, so they could decide to move forward. And then we know that Jakob Poeltl, Will Barton, and they'll be unrestricted free agents. Otto Porter Jr. can also use his player options. So there's going to be potentially some change here. What are your thoughts on, because I thought Toronto was missing a piece or two in this season in general. Now there could be other pieces that could move or different contract ideas to be had by Toronto. So how do you see this offseason, and did you feel like through the season they were missing one piece, 2 pieces? How did you look at it?
Oh, yeah, they're definitely missing pieces. And like I said, they addressed the one, which, actually was one of the best trades in the NBA that nobody talked about, getting Jakob Poeltl. He was a perfect fit, started his career with the Raptors. The only reason they traded him was to get Kawhi Leonard. And he's developed at San Antonio under Greg Popovich. He's bigger, stronger, more experienced, and he's a perfect fit here. So I don't think they got him with the idea that they're going to let him go. So he's got his contract situation, but I think he's somebody you want to look to keep. And you want to fortify your inside. I mean, he's a good, everyday, solid, big, NBA center. And, I think you need multiple guys at that position. The Raptors talked about playing the same size brand of basketball where you got a bunch of guys 6'7" to 6'9", and you just create problems all over the floor. That's great. I think it's a great concept, and I think it's great in segments of a game. But if you don't have a big, you look at a lot of teams, they got not only a solid big, but that backup big. If you don't have that, I think you're going to run into problems when you're playing these teams. And you're putting guys in tough situations, having to guard players like that. Like early in the season, you'd have Pascal Siakam, Precious Achiuwa guarding centers. Not only that, one, they're not going to do a great job of that. And 2, it's going to disrupt their game, their focus. So, I think going into this offseason, obviously you want to, either try to keep Jakob Poeltl, maybe fortify again with somebody else. When you're looking at Fred VanVleet, it's a lot of money. You've got to, there's a lot of money on the table to keep him. You got to decide, at his size, at his, health is a big issue. Can he stay healthy for the next 3-4 years at that position where he's had he's shown some issues there. Freddie's been a great player for this organization, but looking forward, you got to decide if that's what you want. And regardless if you keep him or not, you need depth at that position. You need some size in the backcourt with experience. And this team has to address shooting. They're just not a good shooting team. And even though and their style of play creates a lot of great looks too. So it's not like these guys are struggling making contested shots. They're struggling missing open shots. Yeah. So I think it's really important that somehow they find some shooters, because in today's game, if you don't have shooters, you're going to be in trouble.
That coming from Leo Rautins. Leo, I know you got to hop to the press conference, but we like to leave on a positive note. So what are your biggest positives for the Raptors moving forward?
They're not far off. They're really not. When you look at what people call great teams. First of all, I don't think there are any great teams. There's a lot of good teams, and a lot of these teams, the Raptors play right there with them. They compete right there. They're almost at that same level outside of a few of these pieces. So that's why I think Masai really wanted to see who are the guys you want to keep, who are the guys you're going to fight with, who are the guys you can add to. And so you're putting guys in certain positions, you find out who they are. So I think they got a pretty good idea of who's who at this point on this roster, who they want to keep, who they don't. And Masai firmly believes that they're not that far off relative to the competition. So this team's in good shape. They just have some big decisions to make, but I think they'll make the right ones. They have in the past.
And coming from Leo Rautins, NBA TV Canada and TSN TV Analyst, calling those Raptors home and knowing this team like the back of his hand for many, many years. Leo, I appreciate the fact that not only were you here this morning and have always been here throughout the years, but especially on a day with news like this, that you kept your word and came on here. So head off to that press conference. I look forward to talking with you after, and as always, I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Dan. Always a pleasure, buddy.
Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you. That coming from Leo Rautins here as he gets ready to head off to the press conference for the opportunity to figure out what's going on with the Raptors. They just let Nick Nurse go. And I've been watching because Nick Nurse has been trending on Twitter these last few days, and Joel Embiid for, saying some fun things. There was that side of trending, but I kept watching, saying, okay, what's going on? Is something going on with Nick Nurse? Because after you kind of get that feel, like Leo was talking about, of, is Nick happy? Is this where he wants to be? He's talked about how he's got to think about it. His name has come up in other places. So, that's why every time Nick Nurse popped up, I was paying attention, saying, okay, why is his name up here? Did he leave? And so he has been let go by the Toronto Raptors, and Leo Rautins coming onto the show literally within moments of that happening. And I can't thank Leo enough for letting us have that opportunity to speak with him before he's spoken with anybody, I would imagine, after Nick Nurse was let go here, because that happened within the hour here. That Nick Nurse is no longer the head coach of the Toronto Raptors. So we shall see where we go from here and who the next leader of the Raptors is going to be. I mean, Nick Nurse led my team. People know I love them Raptors. And Nick Nurse led the Toronto Raptors to their only championship in franchise history. So I'm grateful for that. I'm thankful for that. I appreciate that. And, that's something that means a lot to me. So I will always be grateful to Nick Nurse for that. This man fought his tail off to do something that was truly special with the Toronto Raptors, and something that a lot of people didn't think the Raptors could ever achieve. I wasn't one of those people, but I definitely heard it. I heard that. I heard that a lot. Why are you a fan of a team that's not even in America? There's no way that this team is going to win. You're wasting your time being a Toronto fan. You might as well, pick a team that's in the States, because that team doesn't even count. They're not a real basketball team. Who cares about the Raptors? I've heard all kinds of stuff when it comes to me being a fan of the Raptors. But you know what I didn't hear? Was apologies from everybody that said that when they won a championship in 2019. Because those apologies date all the way back to elementary school. And I know I'm not going to get them, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to turn around and say, hey, I guess I was right. I guess I did like a team that was pretty good. I guess they can do something. And then those people would probably respond, well, Dan, they've only won one championship. And I would say that's more than a lot of other franchises out there. So, you can't fight stupidity with logic. I've realized that over time. But I'm very, very proud of the Toronto Raptors and what they've done to win a championship, because they would get there. They did some things with Damon Stoudemire. They did some things with Marcus Camby. They did some things with Vince Carter. They did some things with Tracy McGrady. They did some things with DeMar DeRozan. They did some things with Mo Pete. But it was never a championship. And that's the tough part, for seeing Nick Nurse go is Nick Nurse was the guy that led him to the championship. And Dwayne Casey, as Leo Rautins put it, Dwayne Casey helped to lay that foundation. And Nick Nurse was able to bring them a step further. So I got to thank Nick Nurse for that. And for him bringing my home away from home a title. So I mean, it's tough. It's tough this morning to see this and to have to figure out where the Raptors go from here. There's excitement when it comes down to, wanting to see where your team's going to go next. And there's also a little bit of anxiety that can come, and I'm not someone who likes to be anxious. So I'm going to leave that anxiety off my list. But this is a time for us to see where do we head? Where does this team go now? And who will be the leader? Do the powers that be already have somebody in mind? Is that already? Because I feel like in order to be a good owner, a good GM, you kind of already have to have in your head, God forbid something happens, this is where we could go. Because you have to plan, what do they say? That hope for the best, prepare for the worst. So, you hope that things continue to work out, but you prepare as if they're not going to, just so you're ready. And I think that that's something that they have to do now. They have to be prepared to be ready for what could happen now that they're in this situation where we got to figure things out. The Toronto Raptors have to find new life. There was already going to be decisions to be made, and I'm happy that Leo agrees with me here that they need, I said some people might think they need a piece or two. I think they need a bunch of pieces. And now that they could go out and get those pieces, they're now going to have to go out and get those pieces and do that in such a way where, you're not only going to have to go out and get the pieces, you're going to have to go out and get the coach. And you're going to want to do that quick because this is a perfect time to strike while the iron's hot, right? Because you're at the beginning of the playoffs. You're in the first round of the NBA playoffs. So in this first round of the NBA playoffs, you got plenty of time, right? Because you got these games, and then you move forward from here in the NBA postseason. There's going to be multiple rounds that the Raptors could sit here before the draft and figure things out, which I love. I love that they have the time to do it. That because you look at this and say, okay, this is the first round. Then you have the conference semifinals. Then you have the conference finals. And then you have the NBA finals. So you got 4 rounds before we have the draft. So you have plenty of time to figure out who you want, to bring somebody in, and to have them ready for the draft, ready for the offseason, ready for free agency, and to figure some things out here. So obviously the sooner the better, but time is more on their side than it's not on their side because they're not making this decision during the conference finals or the NBA finals or after the draft or during the draft or right before the draft, because that would have been a horrible situation to be in. So the timing, in a world where timing typically is not the greatest when it comes to coaches leaving, this timing is great. I'm not going to say it's perfect because I don't think there's any perfect time, but this is a really good time to have your coaching change because you're not putting yourself in a position where you are back against the wall, either in the postseason or the postseason ending or free agency already having started. That's when you don't want to have a coaching change or, right around the draft. So this gives the Raptors time, which in sports is something that you don't typically get a lot of. So I'm happy that they have that, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with it. And I thank Leo Rautins for giving us time this morning to have this conversation and be able to really break it down right as it's happening. Within the hour of Nick Nurse being let go, Leo Rautins was here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora to talk about it. So I thank him and I appreciate him for that. I'm going to put a poll up here if you agree with the decision of the Raptors letting Nick Nurse go or not. So I'm going to put that poll on Twitter right now. That's at CallDT, CALLDT. So make sure that you join us in the voting here this morning. And we appreciate everybody that always does. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. Be back after this to continue Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora this morning as breaking news with my favorite team in the NBA, my Toronto Raptors from day zero, from 1994, I think, when the logo came out, before they even played, this being my favorite team pretty much my entire lifetime, to be here this morning with breaking news that Nick Nurse has been let go by the powers that be in Toronto as they get set to look for a new leader and new pieces to move forward in a positive direction. We'll be back right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios to talk about more in just a few minutes. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and Kampground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Kampground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can. And we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And then them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge, and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item, available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day, and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. You know, they can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cabal studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. I appreciate you so very much for being here and hanging out with us all day, on our social media, Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. And of course, being with us on the broadcast every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We appreciate you hanging out with us on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT. That's YouTube.com /WakeUpCallDT and Facebook.com /WakeUpCallDT, as well as on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com and on Facebook.com /LiveNowDT. So however you're connecting with the show, I thank you so much for hanging out with us where sports meets life. Once the shows go live, they hop into the archive, and we'll be adding a bunch of shows into the archive here, so make sure you check us out on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, as well as MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, to find us 24/7, 365 worldwide. So make sure you go to any one of these outlets and search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. And we appreciate you and thank you in advance. I want to give a special thanks to all of our incredible partners in Central and Upstate New York: Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, K9 Camp Dog Daycare, PB&J's Lunchbox, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Chick-fil-A Watertown, K9 Kampground Dog Boarding, 317 at Montgomery Street. We have a new episode of Downtown with Dan airing on all of our social media outlets, as well as on youtube.com /WakeUpCallDT. Trying the 317 Smash Burger. Don't miss out on the opportunity to see me with one of my favorite burgers of all time. That burger, whoo! Good. That was a good burger. And that maple bacon, I tell you, that's how you get me. You know, I feel like if I ever get married again, she's going to say, you had me at maple bacon. I'm going to say, you had me at maple bacon, right? She's going to make something for breakfast. I'm going to be all about that life. 317 at Montgomery Street. Make sure you check out the restaurant whose name is also their location in downtown Syracuse. Great Lakes Honda City, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Avicoli's, Mother's Cupboard, where you can get my exclusive sandwich, Mother's Cupboard, providing for you the exclusive Cuse McMother. It is my sandwich, available 7 days a week, only at Mother's Cupboard on 3709 James Street in Syracuse, New York. The Cuse McMother, bacon, egg, and cheese, all served on 2 pieces of French toast. You can pick it up and eat it like a sandwich, or cut it up and have some syrup on it and enjoy it that way. The Cuse McMother, a staple of our community, is Mother's Cupboard, and your new favorite sandwich is exclusively at Mother's, and I am so grateful to have my own sandwich there, and I cannot thank them enough. The Cuse McMother, created by Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and I am so proud and so thankful, and Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. I'm grateful to Pete and Amy and everyone on staff at Mother's Cupboard that's been incredible about it. Thank you for your love and support. Never thought in a million years that I would have my poster hanging daily at Mother's Cupboard. Never thought that. Never thought I'd have my own sandwich there. It is a true honor and a privilege, and I cannot thank you enough, and I love it. I love that you all have gone out and gotten it and been so supportive in our community, so thank you. It tastes great, so it's really easy to go out and get, and thank you for those of you that have. Big shout out to Pizza Man as well. Can't wait to do the draft there this Thursday, and of course, Wake Up Call is the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It is Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. We are so happy to be the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of the Lemoyne College Dolphins, getting to tell their stories every single week. And on Wednesdays, we have Dolphin Time, first and third Wednesday of each month at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. You'll hear AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. Every second and fourth Wednesday, you will hear the Dolphin Dive, diving into the stories of student athletes, coaches, future Dolphins, and alumni. You can check out all of this content by simply going to the Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com. So make sure you go there, bookmark it, save it, and keep it forever. That'll continue to grow as we continue to have our specials with the Dolphins. And you can also go to our YouTube channel on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Subscribe there and get all of our Dolphin content with AD and DT and our Dolphin Dive specials. Don't miss a second of everything we celebrated with 75 years of the baseball program and 30 years of women's lacrosse at Lemoyne, with my conversations connecting to both that are all available on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So make sure you check that out today. For more information on your Dolphins, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse, exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. Don't miss a second of all of our coverage with the fantastic Bobcats on James Street in Syracuse, New York. The Bobcats coming to you with national championship teams in men's and women's soccer, teams that have made it to the national tournament in men's and women's basketball, and the men's team winning their first ever postseason game in their history. And, of course, the inaugural season of the baseball team. Our stories with coaches, student athletes, and administration come to you all year round in a special and unique way that Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse has never had, and we're proud to bring to you. You can find all of our Bobcat coverage by going to the BSC Syracuse tab on wakeupcalldt.com and by subscribing to our YouTube channel on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. That's youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And, of course, you could search Bobcat Buzz on YouTube and find it there as well. For more information on your Bobcats, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', I want to give a special thank you to Carvel DeWitt for the annoying moment of the week, to Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay for lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver, focusing on today's topic, when they turn on you. Top Dog of the Week, honoring my doctor and my neighbor. Big time thanks to you. And actually, two of my doctors. Big shout out to both of you for being wonderful and helping me out and actually caring about me. Top Dog, and to my neighbor for caring about me and helping me out as well. Top Dogs of the Week. I hope you have yours. Think about who your Top Dog of the Week would be and show them some love. Either by text message, sending some flowers, knocking on the door and saying hi, giving a hug, or just writing a comment, whatever it may be. Do something nice for the top dogs in your life today. And a big shout out to K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding for bringing us the Top Dog of the Week every single week, and for being the best place to bring our dogs in our community of Central and Upstate New York. They are the top dogs of the daycare and dog boarding world. Make sure you go to K9 Camp Dog Daycare and on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse. The Kampground Dog Boarding is down the road on 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse. You can call the daycare to make a reservation at 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110. And you can call the Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. And if you want to reserve a place, a cabin for your dog in their dog boarding, because each dog has their own individual cabin that they can hang out with and relax and have some peace. So if you would like to have that reserved, the weather's getting warmer, folks. People are going to start planning summer trips. So you got to call K9 Kampground immediately to make sure that you get a spot. 315-299-4013. And a big time shout out to my guy, Leo Rautins, because I appreciate him as always. I appreciate his friendship. I appreciate everything he's done for me over the years. And beyond all of that, I want to thank him for coming on the show today. Within the hour of Nick Nurse being let go, he could have said what other people might have said, which is, hey, Dan, I know I'm supposed to be on the show, but they just let Nick Nurse go. Big news, big media day, going to have to get over there. Sorry, can't do the show. Talk to you soon. He didn't do that. He came on the show. He spent more time than he had promised and gave us everything that he possibly could in that time period. So not only did Leo keep his word, he gave us extra time, and he did it within the hour of massive news happening in Toronto Raptors history, as the only head coach to ever bring a championship to Jurassic Park is now moving on, with Nick Nurse being let go by the Toronto Raptors. So I can't thank Leo enough for his word, his time, and for not making excuses. So God bless you, brother. I appreciate you, man. And make sure you check him out on TSN and NBA TV Canada covering those Raptors. God bless. And I appreciate Leo Rautins and the family. So much love to all of you. Find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. And when they turn on you, turn to God. because God will never turn their back on you. Ever. And I know that. So, God bless, no stress, do your best. I'll see you at the spring game tonight at the Dome. So if you see me, wave, say hi, I'll say hi. And hope to see you out there. So thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. I hope my wake-up callers will be at the Dome tonight. And I hope you're out supporting high school sports all throughout this weekend. And I hope you find yourself over to Lemoyne and to Bryan and Stratton, Syracuse games especially. So God bless you all. No stress. Do your best. I know it's hard not to have stress, but what I mean when I say no stress, when I say God bless, it means remember God is there for you and will never turn his back on you. No stress. Minimize the amount of stress in your life because stress can kill. And there's no part of the Bible that ever asked you to be stressed, worried, terrified, anxious of anything. Do your best. Well, because that's all you can do. And if you do your best, it's going to be enough for those that truly love you and care about you. So with that coming to you today, I want to thank all of my guests. We had a long week of shows this week. It genuinely felt like this week was like started 3 weeks ago because we have had a lot on this week's broadcast. I am so honored. I am so privileged. I am so thankful to have the guests that I had on the show this week. Dave Paziak talk about the NBA. Leo Rautins talk about the Raptors. Christy Salters Martin doing Christy's Corner, our bi-monthly segment with the champ. And this time having John Iceman Scully on with Pat Orr and Christy and I, and having a fantastic conversation about a society that needs to stop handing a trophy to everybody because it's making people feel like they don't have to work toward anything and that they don't have to get better. So that was a great conversation with a lot of different things. Iceman was fantastic. Christy and Pat, always wonderful to have. Much love to you all. And I mean, from all of that to Brendan Murphy, to the Two Mics No Filter I had with Andrea this week, to my conversation with Jeff Lonzak as the men's tennis team at Lemoyne continues to push through the playoffs as the top seed in the NE10 championships, and talk with him about his Chicago Bears in the NFL, to, I mean, literally Dukes Knutson coming on and talking about faith in baseball and giving us an inside look at the Tampa Bay Rays, the best team in baseball right now. Papa Joe doing his thing with baseball and the Jaguars, and always bringing a great conversation every Thursday morning. And, you know, Chris Heidel joining me to talk about NIL and the transfer portal and the craziness of the current transfer portal and how many players are in there and what's going on, and that Alabama and Clemson's football programs have lost a ton of players, which, you know, does that speak to Nick Saban and Dabo Sweeney, or does that speak to the fact that kids are maybe looking to make money more than they're looking to be on a team and dedicate to an actual community and a group? You know, is this more individualistic now with free agency and the ability to sign contracts and the fact that there is no amateurism in collegiate athletics anymore? So a lot of great stuff that we've gotten to talk about, we've gotten to do this week. Like I said, my guests have been absolutely tremendous and fantastic, and I'm so grateful for all of them. Downtown with Dan, we got to do a new episode with the 317 Smash Burger at 317 at Montgomery Street. You can watch that on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So make sure you do that. I'm looking forward to relaxing this weekend. I am looking forward to having fun. Shout out to the Liverpool Warriors. They invited me. They wanted me to come out to one of their games. Went and saw their boys lacrosse game last night. Awesome game between Liverpool and CNS. CNS came back. Liverpool just poured it on in the beginning, first half, 10-2. And then CNS fought back 12-10. Ends up being a Liverpool victory. Got to see AD Ari Lieberman. Got to see Mr. Superintendent there, Dan. Got to hang out with him for a minute. Got to see Ryan Blackwell, the head coach of the boys team, and a friend of mine for many, many years. So it was a great time. And obviously I got to see Mike Felice and his team. So a great time. And Joey Sacco coming up to me after really shows the mettle and his character. And I can't thank him enough for, you know, he's acts like an adult even though he's only in high school. So big shout out to Joey Sacco and to everybody. Congratulations to the Liverpool boys lacrosse team. Fantastic game, and thank you for treating me like family always. And I look forward to talking with you all soon. So have a fantastic day. Be good to each other. Be good to yourself. God bless. No stress. Do your best. I will take my advice, and I hope you take mine too. Be good. Be well, and remember, God